Hey dreamers, this is Jade. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here to do kind of like a 2025 journal wrap up. So I'm just going to go through all of the journals that I worked in pretty much consistently during the course of 2025 or semi-consistently. These are all the journals that I touched in some capacity in 2025. So let's go ahead and get into it. Starting out with the ones that I was in most often, of course, this is my daily mini bullet journal. And as you all know, if you are a regular on my channel, I use this. This is a Create with Pen Inked notebook. This is the pocket size, and I think it's like 520 pages. And so I think I ended up having to move into a new one from last year. So I have been in this one since August. So this is what I do daily. Basically, I have this in the front just as a quick decoration. I keep my icons here when I print them out and cut them. And then here I make my own calendar for the month because I like to do that. And then basically here is where I have my playlist. So whatever I was watching for the month, I will print out an icon and it will go here. They are printed out in 0.75 by 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch. And these boxes are 5 by 5 if anybody's interested in that. And then over here, I will put whatever song it was that I was listening to pretty much on repeat for that month over here. And then I will include the books that I was reading for that month that I finished in the course of that month. And then I will come over here and I will have a chart for any of the online orders that I made for that month. That includes the store that I bought it from, the cost, the date I ordered it, the date it shipped, and the date I received it. And then here are basically my daily pages. Over here, I will come in and just write the day and the date. And then I will keep a log of what I was doing during the course of the day at what times. In hour intervals. And then here I will put my goals for tomorrow so I know what I want to focus on for the next day. And this is basically how I ended up decorating. It started out like this, and then it quickly morphed to this, where I would have a creature was basically, God, can I talk? These are basically printouts from Little Raven Ink on her Patreon. She does, of course, printables. And so I will print out one of her little monsters, stick them here or wherever. I try to switch it up so they're not all like in the same spot, and so it's not bulking up in the same spot. And then I will put just like one quick title over here of what I was doing for the majority of the day, and then write my little blurb of whatever was going on. And this gives me a guide to my creative journal. So whenever I decide I want to do something a little more creative, this gives me a guide to what I was doing that day, what event I want to make note of, or any little thing that I want to get down in my creative journal. I have a document of it here. So this is basically what I do in this, and it's been pretty consistent since. And I do have like my old ones here, and I can show you the difference in how it goes. So I feel like I change this up a little bit every now and again, but I'm really liking the way that I'm doing it so far, and I've been doing this for months now. And so yeah, this is what's working for me for right now. Before I had stopped even doing this part here, and I was just doing this on both sides of the page. And as I said, I'll get into that when I like go through how I used to do all my stuff. So yeah, so that's basically what's going on here, and I'm still doing the same thing. This is Monday today when I'm filming this, and I need to just put down that I'm filming this here, and all of this will be fleshed out by the end of the night. So yeah, so that's basically what I do in my mini bullet journal. It works for me to keep up with what I'm doing during the day and what I need to, or what I might want to go delve further into in my creative journal. So yeah, that's what's working for me there. And then here, my one line a day journal. I'm so excited because I'm finally on the last year of this. As you can see, I've been filling it out. Now, I will say, if you're looking to get into like a 5-year journal, I would start with something like this first to see if you like it, instead of just jumping out there all willy-nilly and getting the 5-year from Hobonichi or any of the other stores. Try this like a first, or like even half a year, to see if it's something you think you'll keep up with. And then, maybe try the more expensive ones. that's what I did anyway. And I was able to do it for the most part. There are some small gaps, typically when I was like maybe in the hospital or something like that. But for the most part, I'm pretty good on this. I've been doing pretty well, filling it up and everything like that. I do have to go back and fill in a lot of December from this year, because I had another stint in the hospital, and I got to the point where I just did not feel like it, you know. Like I was keeping track of stuff, but I just, once I got out of the hospital, I was like, yeah, I'll fill it in later. And I kept doing that. And so as you can see, I have all of these entries I need to fill in December. Same goes for my 5-year. And I will get all of my notes that I need to get down for that and get that filled in. But for the most part, I have done a great job keeping up with this. So I'm very, very proud of myself. And we're on year 5. So after this, I can get this out of my system. And that'll be less one repetitive thing that I have to do. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then speaking of repetitive, my 5-year is basically the same thing. I love this, however, because I really do love the Hobonichi brand. And so I am here. I'm in my 3rd year, and as I said, I wanted to do kind of like the Roy G. Biv format. So I started off with red. I decided I wasn't going to do yellow, because yellow, nobody can really see if you write in yellow. This was orange. However, with it fading, it kind of looks like a red to me. And I started out using a Pentel Energel orange pen here. I did eventually switch to this Sarasa, so it'll be more orange once we get deeper into the entries. And then, excuse me, I'm using like a green here, but it's actually not a true green. It's more of a, it's like a teal, it's like a green blue. And I really like this color. And the next year will be like an actual blue and a purple. So yeah, I like the way it looks so far. So I am so far keeping up with it in January. It's only been a few days anyway. So today will be the 5th that I'll need to get my entry in. And then, as I said in my other one, I need to come in and fill in December for the most part. And then I'll be up to date or whatever. But I'll be doing that soon, and I'll be all caught up and everything like that. So that is pretty much it for my 5-year. So far, I've been doing a good job in it. I'm looking forward to seeing how this will be all filled out by the end of the 5 years. I do want to, the one thing that I want to do, and I keep saying this every year and I keep not doing it. So I do need to get a grasp on it, but I need to fill this part of the paper out a little more, whether it be with stamps, pictures, junk journaling stuff. I don't care. I do just want to get something down on this side of the page. So yeah, I do need to do a better job of that. But other than that, doing pretty good in my 5-year journal. Next, this one is interesting. This is my dream journal, so I'm not going to open it and flip through it. But I do keep track of my dreams as much as I can. I am one of those people, I dream every night. And for the most part, I can typically remember my dreams. 2025 was a rough year. I had a hard time remembering the things that I dreamed when I woke up. So this did not get as much love at it as it usually does. And see, as you can see, I didn't even get through the whole thing. This is a notebook that's small enough. I'm sorry, I'm all out of frame. This is a notebook that's small enough for me to get through the entire thing within a year. And I did not, as you can see. So I have been keeping track of my dreams this year so far. I've been doing a better job of it as far as remembering. So it's been like 2 or 3 days that I've actually gotten in here and written something down. It's only been 5 days. So I think I'm doing pretty good so far, and I'm hoping it keeps up with that. So I don't know if it was a reset or what. But yeah, so I just want to make sure I do a better job of that, and I'm definitely hoping I am able to move out of this notebook before or by the end of the year. So, because that was tripping me out. I feel like I know something is wrong when I'm not remembering my dreams, and I did have a rough year last year. So that could be contributing to why I was not remembering my dreams the way that I usually do. And here, this is my scripting journal. Again, I'm not going to be getting into this because it's my scripting journal. So there's very private information here. I started off really good with a bang in here. And then I tapered off at some point because I think my schedule changed, or like the way I was sleeping and waking up, it just was weird. So I started, so when I was waking up, I just kind of wanted to hit the ground running and get started doing whatever I needed to do. So this suffered. And then I kind of pivoted and started going back into it. I was like, okay, if I'm not going to do it during the day, then maybe I can work it into my routine at night. So I got a little more consistent back towards the end. So I started off good. It kind of lulled in the middle. And then I got back kind of into a consistent routine at night. So yeah, so far in my new one, I have been doing a good job, but I'll go through that once I do my 2026 journals and whatever. So, but it's only been 5 days. So yeah. Anyway, so that is it. I love this cover. Look at Luffy and Sabo and Ace when they were kids. So cute. So I get the One Piece covers every year because y'all know I'm obsessed. So yeah, love this. It's my scripting journal, and I do have a new one. I am continuing with this practice. And then let's get into my creative journal for the year. As you can see, I was like doing some splatter paint, and I got a couple on my cover, and it's watercolor, so I'm hoping it'll come off, but it honestly doesn't bother me that much. So yeah, anyway. So this is my creative journal for the year. It is a personal size Chic Sparrow, and I did check my poll. I have to check it again just to see, and it looks like this one is winning out as far as going into a new creative journal for the year. So I may be back into this again. I think people tend to like this size, so that's cool. A little advice: if you're gonna put stickers over here, don't this plastic here, don't use the clear matte stickers if you're gonna use like a plastic sleeve in the front to keep stuff in, because they stick. It sticks and it's annoying. So yeah, if you're gonna put a sticker here, make sure it's like white matte or paper that you're putting down. Anyway, moving into this. So I started off in the Hobonichi Avec, and it just did not work for me. I found that out pretty early on in the year. I did not like it, so I was like, let me just try this and see how it goes. And I actually really enjoyed myself. And this one other thing that I wanted to get back to was using color, and I think I did a pretty good job of that in this journal here. As you can see, I just really wanted to do color and make sure I'm getting color down. These pages, I think they are Tomoe River paper, so it takes color well. This was my 25 in 2025. I actually ended up reading all of the books on my list before the end of the year. I think I was finished by November, and I had finished all of the books that I needed to read. So this was fun. So I did do a 26 in 2026, and I'll go through that when I'm going through my 2026 journals. But yeah. And so yeah, here is what I was doing. But of course, back and forth to the hospital once I got to like around June, July and stuff, and August. So I definitely got behind. It really interrupted my progress in this here. And so I skipped a lot of months and just kind of started, I think after June, I skipped and just started going into October. And so I do need to back journal in this, and that's what I'm going to do. Here, this is my last complete entry, and I need to go in and write out the entry for this, but it's decorated or whatever. And then, oh no, here was my last complete entry. I love this. I'm wondering, I don't think I have a process video for this. But anyway, I was very excited about Charlie Hunnam in the Ed Gein story because he is my favorite actor. I just love him. I think he's the bee's knees, and so I wanted to get this recorded down. And so yeah, I just need to come in here and do more catching up or whatever. However, as you can see, my girl, she's a thickums. She's a thickums already, you know, with just this much in here. So what I'm going to do is split her up. I gotta find I always forget the name of the things, and then it comes to me later, but it's something you call a specific section of these papers. If anybody knows the name, put it in the comments. I would appreciate you, because it's not coming to me right now. But I'm going to cut this up, and then I will also I think I'm going to split it into three parts. And that way, when I have the time, I can just do all of my back journaling. So once I'm finished with October, I'll probably start back with July. And then get that stuff down and just go consecutively from there as far as getting my journal entries for 2025 done. So yeah, that is pretty much what's going on in here. Really enjoyed working in this. I love the paper. I love the size. And it was something different for me because I typically work in A6 size. So this was fun to try out. And I'm probably going to just kind of keep my decoration simple in my new one as well. I do need to get that set up so I can go ahead and start journaling. But it'll probably be something just like this because you guys know I love me some Zorro. And it'll just be like some background paper and a big Zorro there. So that's what I'm thinking as far as decorations. If I change my mind, you'll see it when I do the video. And so yeah, that is my creative journal. And then we have my One Piece journal. Oh, I'm so happy for this, to get in this and do this again. I got interrupted. I am way behind in this, but I need to get to work again. So I was watching One Piece last night. I'm in Egghead finally again. And then I've gotten to a part in Egghead where it goes back to the Japanese. So the dub is done. So I am all caught up to what is available for me as far as the dub. And so it should give me time until they get the dub up for the rest of the Egghead. It should give me time to get caught up in this, whatever. And so I won't be, I'll probably just be restarting One Piece because I love it so much. But I won't be continuing on the journey as far as past where I am now, because I prefer the dub. I prefer the dub voices, and that's it. That's all. So, and when I do pick it up, I'll just continue where I left off in the months. So like I started in January. I'm just going to continue in January because I want to keep it all in chronological order as far as how I'm getting this stuff down. So yeah, but this was an absolute joy for me to do this year. And I love doing this. I'm ready to continue on with the journey and continue on getting this stuff done. As I said, this was the last day I got done. So May, we're going to go into June. So yeah. And June is around where I started with my, the back and forth trips to the hospital. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that done and getting this whole thing complete. And hopefully I'll have time to catch up in this completely before I actually, before I start, doing this again in, my new one. Because as I said, the dub has stopped. So I am stopping until they get that up. But as I said, that was a joy. That was so fun for me. And then here, this had a couple of different purposes. First, I started out, I was doing physical therapy in the beginning of the year, and I was trying to keep track of that. And it just, I was done soon after I started. So like, I think my last appointment was in like early February or something. So I really didn't need to keep track of that anymore. And then I decided, I'm gonna make it into a book journal. That lasted all of like a week. It didn't last long at all, okay? So as you can see, I just like, okay, I'll just put the icons of what I'm reading when. Yeah, it didn't last long. I was like, no, never mind. Because I had wanted to do a book journal and I never got one set up. And I was like, okay, I'll just put it in the Hobonichi weeks and that'll be that. And it just did not work out for me. And here was my stuff for, what do you call it? PT. Didn't last long. So as you can see, it was a lot of blank stuff, just not doing stuff. And then I got this idea watching L&M, and I was like, that makes sense for me to, I don't want to just like not use it, but it came late. So, but the idea was to just keep track of my media, what I was watching and reading and everything like that, and when, the dates. So like here, I was reading Funny Story. I read pages 294 to 384 and ended up finishing it on this day. I was watching Supernatural, episodes 1 through 3. And then I was listening to Ed Sheeran's Play. And then I started reading Devil in Spring, pages 1 through 66 on this day. Listened to Ed Sheeran Play. Watched Supernatural episodes 4 4 through 7. And that's basically how I started doing this. So like, and then I would also make note if I like played a game at night. So if I was playing Zelda or Story of Seasons or whatever, that's basically what I am doing now, and what I'm how I've continued in my new Hobonichi weeks. That's not my One Piece journal. So it's working for me. I can keep track of what I'm doing when as far as my media, and then get it all in the other places that it needs to go once I'm finished. So that's been helpful. That's been helpful. And then the last journal that I actually worked in this year that I can recall, there could be another one, but and it wasn't that much. There's other stuff that I want to do in here. I had plans to do, and again, got into this 2025 was just the year of interruption for me because I just could not keep anything consistent with the back and forth trips to the hospital. And then once I was out of the hospital, it took me like a week or so to get myself back together. It's a mess. So anyway, this is my, I don't even know what to call this. It's my Valery journal. It's my everything journal. Where I just put stuff that I don't know where else to put it. But it has quickly morphed into like my music journal. I feel like I put a lot of musical themed stuff in here. And so yeah, I love it. And this was the only thing that I did in this. I had to make note of the new Ed Sheeran album that came out, Play. And I just love this album. It's so fun. And so I wanted to make note of it. And even the colors are very playful, very vibrant and pretty and fun. The lime green, the pinks, the blue. It's lovely. I love it. And I just love the way that this turned out. It was so fun to make. And this was the only thing that I ended up doing in here. However, I printed stuff off because I wanted to make note of Man I Need by Olivia Dean. That song has taken the world by storm. I feel like everybody loves that song. So I want to make note of that here. There's another song, I think Kalani, I think, Folded, and some other stuff. So yeah, eventually I'll be getting back into this, but you won't see it until I actually do something in this. So that's how I plan to do next year, as far as like my quarter wrap-ups, or even if I decide to check in monthly. If I've worked in that journal, then you'll see it. If I haven't, then you won't see it, because it's just sometimes it's just too much to keep up with. But anyway, so that pretty much wraps up my journaling journey for the year of 2025. As you can see, it was very much stop and go, because it was so much interruptions because of my health. Looking forward to getting myself a hip replacement this year. So hopefully I'll be better at that, and it'll decrease what's going on as far as me needing to go to the hospital for whatever. So anyway, that's it. That's all. If you have any comments or questions about anything, please leave those below. I trust you all have been safe and well, and I shall catch you in the next video. Happy New Year. Bye.